Good morning, everybody. Grace and peace to you from our Lord Jesus Christ and all the saints here in Central California, where it is actually evening. Thought I'd just give a quick talk while I'm loading up the Barbie's Dream Death Machine over there. that's what I call it anyway. There wasn't a whole lot happening that was filmable at work this week, so I figured I'd just talk to you while I'm doing this. I got some time in the morning before some medical appointments that I'm just gonna take this thing out and attempt to fly it. So I figured I'll just talk to you guys while I'm loading it up about what happened at work this week. And like I said, really not too much. We had a few more APs installed. The engineering guys finished off installing them in our OR area, and they started installing them in our new med-surg wing. Well, relatively new, it's 5 years old. But that's pretty new as this hospital goes. Our hospital's 120 years old. So 5 years is nothing. So anyway, they got that med-surg area finished off. So that's kind of good news. Let's see, what else? What else did they do? I think that's it for wireless. I did start prepping for some updating my core switches. Which is, I don't like to do it only because I've never done it that much. That's no excuse not to do it, but that's why I haven't been doing it. And so I came up with the scripts to get those all set up. Move you guys over here for a minute, make you look at me while I fish out some stuff from in here. I need this tied round strap. I need this tied down strap. That's the right side. This one is the left side. And what is this? Oh, that's the gas can. Oh, I need to get the hitch out. We'll put that over here for just a minute. Oh, so the other thing that we worked on, oh yeah, and I need this thing. Put that there. I can put you guys back down. You don't have to stare at my ugly mug the whole time. So one of the things I worked on this week was on the pneumatic tube system. There's there's the tube stations, there's blower motors, there's diverters. I'm not exactly sure what a diverter does. I think there's another tube system guy out there in the channel somewhere. He knows what all that stuff does, I think. I bet he does. So this company was replacing a failed diverter in our surgery clinic. And things weren't going too swimmingly. Second, I got to step over here. They brought out one of these little devices. It's a control board that the diverter connects to our network using that control board. They brought it out, put it on there. I could see there was a device on the port. It was negotiating for 100 meg full duplex. but I wasn't seeing a MAC address on the port, and it wasn't getting an IP address from DHCP. So they said, hey, can you make sure it's in the right VLAN? And I checked, it was not in the right VLAN. However, if it was doing DHCP, it should have still gotten an IP address, right VLAN or not. It would have just got an IP address in the VLAN that it was in. But I wasn't picking up a DHCP address. There we go. She's hooked. Sorry about that. You're wobbling while I'm jumping up and down on this trailer. So I said, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I'll bring my laptop out and we'll try to get an IP address. So I did. Took my laptop out. Well, first of all, I got it on the right VLAN. Okay, we got a VLAN set aside for the pneumatic tube system. And I put it on that VLAN. And then I plugged my laptop in. Picked up an IP address, nothing flat. No problem at all. Put you guys down here now. So said, well, why don't you guys, so I need to be over here. Why don't you guys get with your tech support and see if you can figure out why that's happening? And they did. And of course, you know, it's always a network problem, right? Except that it wasn't a network problem. Well, kind of not a network problem. So they said, okay, well, maybe they're having a problem with their board. So they grabbed another board, put it in there, same issue. Grabbed a third board, put it in there, same issue. So this poor guy, he's at his wit's end. So he says, I'll call tech support. He said, can you come over and talk to my tech support? I'm like, yeah, sure, young feller, I'll talk to your tech support. So he calls him up while I'm sitting there, and I've got the port opened up on my laptop doing show port 1.5. So it does a constant update of port speed and duplex. I talked to them and they said, oh, well, this particular board we're using, you have to set speed and duplex manually to 100 meg half duplex. Okay, I asked the guy, I asked earlier, the tech that was there on site, I said, well, does this thing need to have specific port settings? He goes, no, I don't think so. I think just straight DHCP and it should work. Yeah, not on this particular board. The newer generation of board that they're using, apparently, you have to manually set speed and duplex. Their older ones would auto-negotiate, which is why they're creating yet another version of this control board, because the new one they ordered doesn't work very well. Anyway, they asked him, well, do you have one of these older rev boards? And he said, yeah, I got one out in the truck. So he goes out and he gets this older revision and he puts it in there. It's still not working. And so finally his tech support says, well, why don't you, see, what are they telling him to do? Oh, set the IP address statically. Give it a static IP address. And see if you can get to it then. So, and at this point, I still wasn't seeing the MAC address or an IP address or anything. So he asked me for an IP address that's available. I give him one, and says he doesn't need, just needs IP, subnet mask, and default gateway is all he needs. Doesn't need anything else. No DNS, nothing like that. So I said, okay, fine, I give him one. And he goes ahead and programs that in. And I said, well, let's see if I can ping it. He turns it on. Sure enough, I can ping it. So what do you know? I said, well, now do I need to set this to 100 meg half duplex? And they said, well, we're not sure. Let's just try it this way. So we just tried it. We just tried it this way. And this way worked. I could ping it. They could get to it from their server. They kept asking me, is there a firewall? Sorry, where am I? They kept asking, is there a firewall between the server and the diverter? I said, well, no. They're on the same VLAN, right? So the only firewall that would be there would be your server's firewall. Well, we've got that turned off. Not a great idea, but okay. Then that's not the problem. So anyway, they decided to go ahead and try it. By try it, I mean run their little firmware update routine, whatever they were trying to do after they get it installed. They've got to do some stuff to make it work. And that's it. It all worked out. And that was about, I don't know, 2 hours of my lunch break that I was missing to help work on this. So at any rate, all's well that ends well. Oh, and all the core switch updates that I'd been working on, trying to get those ready. Told my boss, hey, I got these ready. When do you want to do this? He's like, oh man, I don't even want to think about that right now. Can we do them in September? I said, yeah, buddy, we can do them into September. I don't really want to do them right now anyway. I've done these exactly once, updated these core switches. Now it doesn't look like there's any problem doing those updates. It is actually relatively simple from what I've seen of the process. You download an archive containing all the files that make up the firmware, and then you FTP that to the switch, and then once the files are there on the switch, there's a command called software add, and then the name of the archive. It goes through, it extracts the archive, it puts it in another folder called release /release /int flash /release, and puts it there. And then when you're ready, you can just say software activate, and then the name of the release that you want to use activates it, and then you reboot the switch. Kind of cool thing about this thing is you can have up to 6 different software versions sitting there ready to go for when you're ready to activate. And on the edge switches that I normally update, there's 2. You have a primary and a backup. Well, on this one, it's kind of the same thing. You have a primary and a backup, but then you've got 4 other versions you could use if you needed to. So that'd be super cool for a lab environment. Production environment, I don't know. I guess it's nice to have them to fall back to. And after you reboot it, then you have to go in there and type software commit, and then you're done. Except with these, I had to load 2 different versions because we're that far behind. So we have to do an intermediate upgrade and then do a final upgrade to the final version. And then that will all be done. And then all of our switches will be done. Because next week I'm going to start upgrading, next week or the week after. I think it's the week after. I'm going to start upgrading the edge switches in the main hospital. I've done it all over the rest of the campus. We just have to do the main hospital now. And then those will all be done. And then the cores will be done in September. And then that's about it for upgrading those switches for a while. I don't like to upgrade them every time a new release comes out. Basically, I like to upgrade them when, maybe once a year, or if a blatant security patch comes out that says, hey, you better upgrade to this or you're vulnerable. Okay, I can see that. So anyway, well, I'm going to finish packing this guy up. This is a 6-shooter Skyrider. Give you guys a closer look at this thing in case you're curious. That is a powered parachute. There's the parachute right there in that bag. You lay it out behind the aircraft, lay it out nicely, get all the lines, make sure none of the lines are tangled, and start the engine, advance the throttle. Throttle's right over there, that little black knob sticking up. Advance that throttle, and up you go. Well, you wait till the parachute will pop up over you. You wait for it to stabilize, and once it does, you give it full throttle, you start climbing, and then you steer with your feet with these bars. There's one bar here, one bar over there on the other side, and these bars pull these lines, and these lines go up to the back of the parachute on either side. So you pull down the back on this side to go this way, you pull down the back on that side to go that way. You want to keep going up, you keep the throttle forward. You want to go down, you pull the throttle back. Nothing simpler to fly. Sorry, mosquitoes are starting to make their appearance. So anyway, I'm going to try this out tomorrow. I've been having a problem with the parachute oscillating back and forth, and I think that's because I had these lines misrigged. I know I had them misrigged, but I think that's what's causing the oscillation. So I'm going to try tomorrow to just taxi it. Not even going to say I'm going to fly it. I'm going to taxi it, and if everything works okay, then I will fly it. But otherwise, I'm just going to call it a taxi for now. This is hard to do one-handed. Put some a little purple thing on here to keep these boards from wandering away, just like the one I put on in the back. So let's make sure this thing's all rigged right. This is tight. Put this away. This is tight. This is tight. Let my prop tie down to keep it from rotating while I drive. Okay, that's not going anywhere. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go hitch this up to the truck, the old network admin mobile over there. And I'm going to go inside before these mosquitoes eat me alive. That's all I got this week, guys. If you liked what you saw, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell. As the moon slowly rises in the east, where is the moon? I see it somewhere. Oh, right there over that house, right back there. So as the moon rises in the east, I'll say thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, thumbs up, thumbs down, leave a comment, leave a prayer request. And I love hearing from you guys. And as always, we'll talk to you next week. God bless.